city.
Okay, call this meeting to order. Will you all rise and do our pledge? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
John Jones.
Here.
Legislator Batson, Leanne Dyer.
Present.
James McMahon. Joshua Putnam.
Present.
Fred Walker.
James should be in shortly. He texted me that you're on his way from the listener. Any changes or additions to the agenda? Nope. Seeing none? Great. We'll move on. First item on the agenda is a presentation from
Introvia.
Is the mics on?
Oh. Can you hear me now? Okay. So the first item on the agenda is Introvia investigation. Have a presentation for us?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, my name is Michael Jaworski. I'm the owner of Introvia Investigation. We're a private investigation company. We conduct private and public sector employment-related investigations. We deal with like whistleblower act complaint, internal and external complaint investigations. The strength of our company is we conduct objective, impartial, detailed, and extremely thorough investigations. And we do that for our clients, but for relevance to the city, we do it for the citizens, and we try to be as fair and accurate as we possibly can. Because there's a lot of issues with the cities and the citizens, the frustrations with the citizens have with what's going on in government. And so we try to help mediate that and mitigate.
Can't hear nothing back here.
Is it on?
Yeah, I can hear.
All right. Yeah, I'll put it in my mouth.
There you go.
Yeah. So we came down here, my team, to just kind of talk to you. Talk to you in person, so you can get to know us and see who we are before you make any decision. In 1997, I sat in this room and interviewed for reserve police officer position, and for years I've been very appreciative of having been given that opportunity back then, and I feel this will be an opportunity to repay and give back to the city in some form. We bring to this city a wealth and cornucopia of experience that I think would be beneficial to the city and the citizens. And so I just introduced some of the team. Our investigator is Ray Whitmire, and he's just going to quick give a little background on who he is.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Ray Whitmire. I've got 32 years of law enforcement experience, having investigated literally thousands of cases. I've been involved with internal investigations within police departments. I've been a union president. I've been a police chief. Dealt with contracts on both sides, negotiating contracts. I've been the union president, negotiating contracts, and on the other side is the police chief, negotiating contracts. I enjoy investigations, and that's why after retiring from law enforcement, I decided to continue with that and work with Michael here at Introvia as an investigator. For me, it's an enjoyable thing trying to get to basically the truth. And I think we do offer something really perfect for this situation here, that, like for myself, I have no connections in this city. So if I'm involved with an investigation here, I don't come into it with any type of biases. Other than doing the investigation, I don't get anything out of it one way or the other. So I would just look at a situation here and try to look at the facts, get down to all the details, determine what really is the truth in a situation, and then provide some problem solving, maybe some direction you could go with this situation. Maybe I do enjoy mediation. I've used that in complaints within a police department setting, and it's worked really well. Having that opportunity to meet with, in some cases, a citizen and an officer, and bringing them together to talk about how they felt about an incident, and getting down to coming up with a solution so that we can take care of the problem. And I'm local. I grew up here in Seattle, so I understand Washington. I understand the laws here, understand the labor laws, and I think we can provide what you need here. Any questions?
Questions from council?
Thank you.
And then within our company, we have an attorney that we work with that specializes in labor law. His name is Josh. You can come up and give a quick bio.
Hello, I'm Josh Dowling, attorney working mostly out of Shoreline, Washington, where we're based out of. My business is mostly on labor law, making sure that relations between businesses and their employees are done correctly. Cities and employees done correctly. Everything needs to be made, I believe, in a way that everybody goes home happy, everybody has a win-win situation, everybody has a safe and good place to work. And of course, unfortunately, when there does need to be an investigation done, you need to have that done professionally, without a bias. And that's always what I look for, a win-win situation. How can we help the city? How can we make sure everybody gets home happy, and do it in a legal, proper fashion?
One of the things I found that we needed and could offer is something called early resolution. And because a lot of employees and employers, it can be misunderstanding, personnel issues, personality conflicts. And so we felt there was a need to have somebody to handle conflict resolution. And that's where, and mediation, and that's where Greg Wishkashi comes in.
Thank you, and thanks for hearing us this afternoon. I appreciate the time. My name is Greg Wishkowski, and I've been involved in education for some 37 years in the state of Washington. I've been involved, I've been a teacher for a while, but the last 20 years I've been involved as a unionist, as a UNICEF director for the Washington Education Association, now currently an emeritus manager for the Washington Education Association, where I manage 60-some employees currently in our association. I come with you some experiences in local government and local school districts. I've had the opportunity to bargain contracts, like Ray has mentioned before, on both sides of the table. So I've been on the side of the teacher's contract and also on the contracts of our employees, and I've been on the management side. Also, as you know, in any kind of systems, governmental systems, there's conflict. We try to settle, usually in our educational systems, resolve conflicts internally without going outside, and we have specialists in organizational development and mediation. I've been happy to experience those trainings and serve in that fashion for a number of years. I think I can provide a highly ethical, balanced approach to the City of Pacific and provide some experience and quality control that I think you'd be pleased with. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.
Okay. Yeah, that's our team, and to brag, we do a good job, and we have repeat business because of the quality of work that we do, and we get a lot of referrals because of the work we do. And I think this would just be a good fit for us, and we would work extremely hard, and would be very pleased to be working as a team with the city and those people involved. Did anybody have any questions at all?
Well, I look at your hourly rate at approximately $70 an hour. Under the circumstances of this investigation, any idea, ballpark, approximate, how long we might or what the overall cost we're looking at instead of an open-ended?
Yeah, I understand that. We would, you know, we're extremely fair and reasonable with everything we do, and one of them is cost. And we would be as efficient as we possibly could with everything we did. We would try to coordinate interviews back-to-back, day after day, and try to get as much done in the shortest period of time. We would not to badmouth other law firms and other investigators, but that's exactly what they do. The cities are a huge cash cow for them, and they drag these cases out as long as they can. That's not what we do. We have other cases to work on. We would make it as cost-effective and efficient for you, and still with the highest quality level of work, and just the facts, and be done.
Anybody else? I did have a question. We've been given some background information, but we don't have any information. Can you give us your insurance history, any claims history, any problems you've had, anything that might be a red flag for us?
Oh, no, great question. The state law only requires you to have a surety bond or insurance. And I contacted my insurance company and like 4 other people, and they were like, we don't know what you're talking about. So I contacted a place in Tacoma and I bought a surety bond, and they're like, yeah, we do this all the time. And then I spoke to the Washington State Bar Association about lawsuits and stuff, PIs being sued. He's like, I don't know of anybody that has been. And then when I spoke to the Department of Licensing, they're the ones that regulate the license, they said, we don't know of anybody that's been sued. So I think that's why the state only requires a low surety bond, because it's a low risk for being sued. And our retainers addresses legalities and lawsuits and stuff like that. So no, we have not. I mean, we just haven't, you know.
Just by way of background on that, my concern for the city is that with the insurance policy we have in place at the moment, we have a $500,000 self-insured retention that does not cover our defense costs if anything we or one of our contractors does get the claim filed against us. So we're out of pocket for the defense cost of defense, as well as for the first $500,000 of any claim. So naturally, we're quite wary right now about any contractors that are not insured.
No, I understand. But we meet the requirements of state law, and if we did get sued or whatever, there's $10,000 for them. But I'm pretty optimistic that's not going to occur, and we did consider that risk management for us coming here because of the environment here, getting dragged into some type of lawsuit. And I just know that we're very professional, factual, and ethical and moral, and we'll state the facts and try not to pay attention to the peripheral issues and just do our job. So that's it.
I have a question. I was curious, how did you come to find out about this?
I had originally applied as a lateral police officer, and when I had a conversation with the mayor, called me, and he asked what I was doing, and I explained to him what we were doing, and I said, check out our website. We spent a lot of money on it. Somebody can look at it, and he went to it, and then called later on, a couple weeks later, and said he's got a whistleblower complaint. I'm like, well, that's exactly what we do. Exactly what we do. And he said it was against him, and I was like, well, you should know if we investigate it and you're, committed to wrongdoing, we're going to hold you accountable. And period. We don't care about titles, really.
Follow on prior investigations, whistleblower. Have you guys had any?
We're working a case right now. It's a huge case compared to the situations you guys have here. Much more complex and long, drawn out. We're doing that right now. We're in the process of it, and it'll be on the news, I guess, in a couple weeks. But yeah, we are. We work with. The other thing I want to mention is we have. When we put this company together and we started talking to people about it, the support and the amount of people that wanted to get involved and help out, was overwhelming. And so we have attorneys that work for big firms or their own practices that want to help us any way they can. And, well, just recently I called one of them and said, hey, this is the case we got. We're halfway through it. These are the facts. What do you think? Boom. Gives them input help with that, you know, that way. And then we just got another case as well, smaller department, just like this, the size of the city of Pacific, and same thing, 3 whistleblower complaints, 3 of them, they're all related, it's a big case. Well, we're not going to be like primary on it, we're just going to assist initially. I'm trying to stay out of a lot of stuff right now until we get an answer with your city, because we want to be able to concentrate on it 100%. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much. Move it for the next meeting? That's what I said.
Special meeting is in 2 minutes. John,
After this
they're
one.
voting after this one.
Okay, so next item on the agenda is the Yates property. So would that be our finance director, you want to report on that?
Okay, the, Yates property addressed council at the last regular meeting, and it was referred to the finance committee and public works. The, acting public works director prepared the staff report, but seeing how he's out of town, it came to me to present it. The recommendation from the finance department is to, set terms. Public Works wants to see, a waiver of penalties, excluding the lien fee, and the finance department is asking that they have a limited time to pay, 45 days, 30 days. Penalties are only waived at the time that payment is made, and that if payment's not made within that period of time, all the penalties would still be due.
Councilmember Putnam, would you like to elaborate on that as per the finance committee?
I think she covered it.
Okay,
Question,
Councilmember Buchanan.
Is there a precedent for us of waiving the penalties in these kind of situations?
It's been done on a case-by-case basis, and since I've been here, there have been cases of it happening. Only by council action.
Councilmember Putnam.
If I may on that, that conversation has come up before. The penalties are primarily designed to compel someone to pay who is not paying on time. So we have a new owner who is, for a situation where there is nobody who's not paying. We've got a new owner who wants to come current, so there is no need to beat them over the head with penalties to get them to pay.
So I know you have a lot of knowledge in this area. When a prospective buyer of property does their due diligence and perhaps seeks a title report, does something like this show up on the title report?
It should. It doesn't always.
And if it doesn't,
That depends.
what part of the process fails on a recorded lien? This is a recorded lien, right?
This is a recorded lien, and I'm not sure if it was done during the process of the sale or what, but for some reason, they apparently did not get that information at the time of the purchase. Now, where it fell down, I'm not sure. I don't know if it was the title company didn't contact us, if they were doing a short sale, and sometimes title companies don't. I don't know.
But the lien was recorded prior to the sale, correct? It's not like the sale and the lien happened at the same time.
They may have happened at similar times, close together times. I'm not sure how long they've owned this property. This is a matter of a new owner on this property.
How old is the lien like that?
She's just been doing them for the last 6 months. If you're interested, the dollar amount of the penalties is $254.04 in this particular instance.
You know the property?
I don't believe so. She was at the last council meeting.
So maybe if it's okay, I'd love to, that's a key part in my decision making, whether there was an overlap. And if the lien was recorded in the middle of the sale, and that's why it wasn't discovered, that's a pretty significant point to me than the alternative. If we could look that up for next week. Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Okay, what's the council's pleasure? Okay, next item on the agenda is the waiver of penalty fees for the Lloyd Enterprises. Again, our finance director.
Okay, same situation, and the finance department is adding to the, cover sheet the same proposed, restrictions to where it be paid within a time frame. If they, and the late fees and penalties that are being waived are not waived until payment is made. If payment's not made within the time frame, then it's due and payable in full. This is a little bit different situation in the fact that it's the same owners that have had the property. It's not a change in ownership. There was a, error in the billing at one time, so this includes some corrections on the billing as well as the waiver of the fees, and apparently they have been agreeable, and they have indicated that they're willing to pay it as long as they can get the waiver that they've requested. They were also at the last meeting, and I do not see them in the audience today.
Councilmember Holsey?
I'll have to recuse myself from the vote because, Lloyd didn't have to.
Councilmember Hussain?
So this one sounds like it was clearly our error, the difference between the one unit being charged versus the 36.5. Is that right?
That was our error, and there was a correction made. There was an error made, but this one has, it's a complex, complicated matter. There was a storm pond on the property, and according to ordinance, if the storm pond is approved, then there's a different rate that's charged. However, they never got the approval on the storm pond, and they didn't respond with the how come the billing is different, and so it just managed to get away. At this point, the acting public works director is approved the storm pond, so it authorizes the change in fees. Apparently, it's been there for years, just hasn't had the paperwork done.
Oh, go ahead.
The question I guess is, do we know exactly when the pond was built and why, and you're getting an overcharged 581% increase, why you're not getting your storm pond approved, you know, and now it's coming up, so I'm kind of curious.
The dates are here somewhere,
I was trying to find it, I couldn't.
but I'm not seeing them in the reports that I have.
Maybe
But I know that somebody did have those dates.
I suspect I know where some of the confusion came from. If you look through Lloyd's letter in the packet, they had an approved plan with a storm pond on it in 2001.
Yeah.
And they might not have realized at the time that they needed to get that pond approved after it was completed to verify that it had in fact been built according to the specs that would make it an approvable pond. So in 2001, the city knew that they were going to build the pond. The city never officially got notice that it was done and needed to be accepted.
Councilmember Holsey?
Part of the reason for the confusion was that that property was occupied by a renter for sharing the construction of the pond. And when they received the 1% or 485% increase in rate, they could no longer afford to continue to do business there, so they vacated the property and terminated the lease agreement. And then the
reading the letter, it looks like August 2010 is when they're stating going back to, for the credit and the difference. I don't have a problem moving this forward, but I'd like Ken to be able to identify when, in fact, this pond was built and when we're officially recognizing that pond. You know, if it was 2010, are we just doing it today? You know.
The numbers that I have, I don't have the dates on permits, but I have the calculations from the accounting office, and that was the August of 2010 through December of 2012 is where the corrections in the rate for the pond are being made.
Any other questions? Council President? All right, next item on the agenda is changing the current PMC to require all businesses to be in compliance with city, state, and federal laws. Who put this on the agenda?
So,
That one's for you.
yeah, I can add this, or I can kind of explain this. In a discussion on another subject, it was suggested to me that, that we ensure that our city business license, our city business code requires that all businesses, as a condition of their licensure, comply with all applicable city, state, and federal laws. And so I had asked Betty to look into this and prepare the necessary paperwork. And I know Betty had tried to reach out to me last week, and I hadn't responded. It was quite a busy week. And I'm looking here at the staff report, and it looks like the application portion of our code appropriately covers that. The conduct of business licensees may fall a little bit short, but I'm looking at 502135 sub A sub 3, and that looks sufficient to me. So unless anybody.
And there's also a standards of conduct that I did not include that says standards of conduct, every licensee under this chapter shall, in number 2, comply with all federal, state, and city statutes, laws, ordinances, regulations relating to the business premises and conduct of business thereon. So it's reiterated further on in the code.
Okay. So we feel, I guess, if I can, my question of staff is, do we, and maybe city attorney as well, you were later than I was. Do we?
He's already been to the workshop.
Oh, that's right. Is to ensure that we feel like the code sufficiently covers if we found a licensed business in the city limits that was conducting business that violated city, state, or federal law, that our existing code enables us to hold that business license.
I would recommend that be adopted by the city.
Well, I think it's already there.
Code.
Well, this is the current code.
Yeah. So as long as we're confident that we've got, that that's enforceable, I'm good.
Any other questions from council?
Thank you, Betty.